predator snarled at class, then curled up when human. Beginning. The lecture hall at Celestia Academy of Intergalactic Studies was a grand chamber of polished steel and glass. Suspended high in orbit above the oceanic moon of Uran, the Academy welcomed students from over 60 different starfaring civilizations. The air shimmered with a sense of alien atmospheres. Some contained trace gases filtered through personalized breathing masks. Others exhaled pheromones or faint bioluminescent spores. It was a place where predator and prey species sat side by side, learning to coexist under a fragile banner of education and progress. The rules were strict. No violence, no feeding, no intimidation. Even so, tensions flared often. On that particular day, Professor Zervac, a crystalline being whose voice resonated like vibrating glass, was preparing to introduce the class to a guest species seldom seen outside their hunting grounds. Students, Zervac said, his fractal body glowing softly. Today we host a demonstration on cross-species communication with high-aggression organisms. Please refrain from sudden movements. A hush fell from the armored side door. Guards escorted a towering figure into the hall. The being's silhouette alone made several students recoil. It was a predator of the Vakral clans, known for their war cries that could shatter bones, and their habit of decorating armor with trophies from prey. The Vakral scales gleamed obsidian, ridged along its shoulders, with mandibles flexing open in a display of sharp, ivory-white teeth. Its golden eyes scanned the lecture hall, and the low growl vibrating in its throat caused even the insectoid Hessians to retreat deeper into their shells. One by one, alien students hissed, squeaked, or flared defensive displays. Even the reptilian Serens, apex hunters on their homeworlds, looked uneasy. The predator snarled. Loud, deep, the sound reverberated like thunder, rattling every student's nerves. The class froze, paralyzed by instinct. All except one. In the center row, sitting cross-legged with a stylus in hand, was a human cadet, a first-year student named Mara Keen. She was from Earth, one of the youngest spacefaring civilizations in the Academy, often underestimated. Compared to scaled Serens or armored Viwarka, humans looked fragile, soft-skinned hair, and only modest claws and teeth. But Mara didn't flinch. Instead, she tilted her head, observing the predator like someone recognizing an old friend's mood. And then, calmly, quietly, she reached into her satchel, pulled out a square woven cloth, and patted the empty spot beside her desk. The predator snarled louder, stepping forward, saliva dripping from its fangs. Students gasped. A bird-like Krith fainted, but the human simply said, "Come here, boy." And to everyone's shock, the predator stopped, its eyes locked on hers. Its growl turned into a rumbling whine, then hesitantly, it padded forward. It lowered itself onto all fours, curled beside her desk, and with a sigh that rattled the room's air vents, rested its massive head on her lap. The lecture hall went dead silent. Mara stroked the ridges above its golden eyes like one might pet a massive, dangerous hound. The predator purred. Professor Zervac's crystalline body flickered in disbelief. Middle, after class, chaos erupted in the halls. Students whispered about the human who tamed the Vakral. Some believed it a trick. Others whispered ancient myths of beasts bowing before strange humans. Professor Zervac summoned Mara to his office. His crystalline form reflected prisms of light across the walls. "You will explain," he said firmly. Mara sat down, looking faintly amused. "Explain what?" "That your terrifying guest is basically just a big cat with armor plating. Do you understand what you did?" Zervac's voice chimed. "The Vakral clan beasts have slaughtered entire colonies. They fear no empire. Yet it submitted to you. It didn't submit. It relaxed." Mara crossed her arms. "There's a difference." Zervac's facets pulsed with confusion. "And why did it relax?" Mara smiled faintly. "Because I recognize what no one else here did. It wasn't posturing for dominance. It was scared." The professor froze. A Vakral? Scared. Sure. Drop it in a room with 40 alien species, all of them staring and bristling. That's the equivalent of throwing a wolf into a zoo where every prey animal knows it's dangerous. Of course it snarled. It was defensive. Zervac considered her words. And you believe stroking it would calm it? No, Mara corrected gently. I believed showing it trust would. The story spread. Some mocked her, others were fascinated. Many avoided her, whispering that she had dangerous influence. But the predator, nicknamed Carrots by the guards, kept returning. Each time it entered, it ignored every species in the room and padded straight to Mara, curling beside her desk. At first, professors were alarmed, but eventually they permitted it, hoping to observe this strange bond. Mara would scratch its chin ridges while taking notes, or occasionally feed it dried strips of synthetic protein she claimed tasted like beef jerky. What no one realized was that this bond would soon matter far more than any academic curiosity. The incident. 3 months later, the Academy was celebrating the Festival of Concord when disaster struck. A faction of anti-coexistence extremists, known as the Vatrax Purists, infiltrated the Academy. Believing mixed-species education polluted their traditions, they planted neurogas bombs in the lower decks, releasing miasma designed to scramble higher cognition, reducing victims to panic, instinct-driven states. The alarms blared, bulkheads sealed, the station's filtration systems strained against overload. Students screamed as the gas spread. Insectoid species lashed out with claws, herbivores stampeded. Reptilians snapped at anything nearby. Chaos consumed the festival. Professor Zervac collapsed, his crystalline resonance disrupted by the gas. And in the center of the mayhem, the predator Carrots roared, his scales flaring. Dozens panicked at the sound. If he attacked, none would survive. But then, through the chaos, Mara stumbled into the hall, coughing through the haze. She spotted Carrots' glowing eyes locked in fury. Without hesitation, she ran toward him. Everyone thought she was insane. The predator snarled, mandibles wide, ready to tear apart anything. But Mara pressed her forehead against his armored snout. "It's okay," she whispered. Her voice cracked, lungs burning from the gas. "You're not alone. Breathe with me." Carrots' body trembled, torn between rage and recognition. But then, slowly, he exhaled, matching her rhythm. Students around them stopped fighting, stunned. Somehow, the massive predator had chosen calm over violence. Carrots lowered himself, shielding Mara with his body, his spines flaring to ward off attackers. His massive claws dug into floor as he guarded her while she dragged unconscious students toward the evacuation lifts. One by one, others rallied. Inspired by the sight of the tame predator, different species began helping instead of fighting. Carrots roared not in threat but in command. The chaos subsided. Ending. When the gas was purged and the purists captured, the Academy Council convened. Representatives of 60 civilizations debated what they had witnessed. Some called it dangerous. The human exerts unnatural influence on predators. Others called it miraculous. She turned an engine of war into a protector. Professor Zervac defended her. What you saw was not domination. It was empathy. Where others saw a monster, she saw a creature in fear. That is a lesson none of our empires have mastered. The council voted. For the first time in Academy history, a first-year cadet was awarded the Medal of Interstellar Concord. As for Carrots, the predator, protocol demanded his return to his clan. Yet when guards attempted to escort him, he refused to move, his golden eyes fixed only on Mara. And so, under new agreements, Carrots was allowed to remain, officially designated as Mara's guardian companion. Rumors spread quickly across the galaxy. Tales of the human who calmed the predator reached even war councils and royal courts. Some laughed, others grew uneasy. A few grew afraid. But Mara, she just kept attending lectures, jotting notes, with a massive Vakral predator curled protectively beside her desk. And whenever it snarled at new students, causing them to recoil in terror, she would sigh, scratch its chin, and say with a grin, "Relax. He's harmless, mostly." Carrots purred.